Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now here in my hands, my SIG P365 XL, built out as a macro that you have seen in a huge number of my videos at this point. If you've been watching my channel, you have seen this time and time again. In one of my more recent videos, I introduced the Osight S. Osight is the new optics company from Olight. Olight previously making their sights. They really had a preliminary model, and then Osight coming out at SHOT Show 2025, introducing the fact that Osight would now be making their sights, which I think is a good thing, because that's going to push them to need to continue to move forward and advance at, realistically, a quicker pace than it would have had to be under the Olight name. And so I really thought we'd start to see some updates and some new things coming from Osight, and that is absolutely the case here with the Osight S. But today, we're really just talking about a color. Here in olive? Well, I've been looking at the Osight products in the new OAL aluminum. It is a proprietary aluminum made by Olight, Osight, O-Knife, even in the case of some of their knives. And that's what we've come to expect here with the Osight. But the color, which they call olive, I don't really see it as olive. So what we're going to do today, we're going to take a look at the Osight S in the color olive, mounted to my SIG P365, which has a tan grip module. But I also have an olive green grip module. And the olive green here, I mean, you know, I'm actually wearing olive green pants. You can see slightly different shade, but pretty darn close, all things considered. And then especially when you look at the olive against the tan, I mean, you know, vastly different color. But then we start to introduce the olive from Olight or Osight. And so to discuss this in reality, we all know that function matters the most when it comes to your handguns, but we also have to admit that looks kind of can make or break the fizz factor. So who will this olive Osight S be for? Is it for your FDE fans, those who are rocking some shade of tan? Is it for your olive build? Is it for the greens? Is it for a black handgun? Where does it really fit? Well, we're going to take my black Osight S, replace it with the Osight in olive, and try and make that determination. And so as we get into this here, if you haven't seen my other channels, I have Outer Limitless knives, where I cover this O-Knife Duron in OAL aluminum. And I have Outer Limitless lights, where I cover this Warrior Ultra, also in OAL. And both of these in their olive green, which should match perfectly to the Osight S here that I have for my P365 XL. Now, another thing worth mentioning is that if you want to see my preliminary video on the Osight S, I do have another video previously filmed on this Outer Limitless 2 channel, and I go through all of the contents of this entire package. So take a look at that video. The link will be below. But now, as we bust this out, again, you can see it is going to match beautifully with the Duron. It is going to match beautifully with the Olight Warrior Ultra. And not only do you get the optic itself, but you get the charging cover, which is a really cool part of this and really makes a fantastic system, which torqued now to factory specifications 8 inch-pounds. And you can see here, I kind of have the 50 shades of FDE going on, but clearly you can see that against the tan, this does have a little more of that olive color. Definitely has some like gold hue and hint to it. And I don't know how I like it or don't like it. I mean, I probably really do ultimately like the black better for this particular handgun, and especially since with the weapon light at this point. You know, I have a couple of different tans going on already, but it's cool. And of course, you get the benefit of that magnetic charging cover, which sits right on top. We'll get this thing topped off, and you can see this has some battery to it already. So pretty cool. Now, the next thing for me is clearly getting this zeroed and making sure everything's dialed in, bringing it to the range before I carry it. But that, again, is what this looks like against the tan, which this now showing the Osight olive against my olive grip module. And it looks gold or tan. So what color exactly is this? Where does it land? What build do you use this on? And in full disclosure, and already knowing this, O-Knife, O-Light, O-Sight, using a very interesting technique and process to actually anodize their OAL aluminum, which O-Light, O-Sight will say that this is their natural hue. So they're stating basically that this is anodized without any added pigments, and it tends to show what they're calling an olive green shade that you can find in nature, and sort of a blend, or they're calling it a fusion of retro and modern urban styles, which I think is interesting. And I mean, there's no doubt it's a really cool color. I like it a lot. I think it looks amazing on these products just in general. And I do like the overall aesthetic. I have been calling this tan. To me, that is very much a shade of a type of tan. Here's my tan gun belt. And I mean, yeah, it's a tannish color, maybe a little more green. Here's the tan handle on one of my knives. Again, a little more green, but there's no doubt that there's a little more green ultimately, but a lot less green than many other olives out there. So I asked the question, who is the Osight S in olive for? Who is this for? What type of gun are you building? What colors are you going to introduce this into? Do you go with the olive for your grip module? Or do you go with the tan? Leave a comment below. I'm curious about your thoughts. What would you build? How would you make this work for you? At this point, pretty much going to leave my P365 here in this configuration. I'm going to get this out to the range, make sure everything's zeroed in, and I'm going to put this to good use. So for me right now, the olive green is a tan. I'm going 50 shades of FDE, baby. Let's do it. So to the people at Olight, thank you very much for providing this for review. Look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links for where you can find your own Osight S in black or in olive at this point. All red dot options. I'm waiting for the green to come out. I can't wait till they make a green version of their open reflex sights, and in this case, a closed emitter. Just looking forward to that. I think that's going to be fantastic. But until then, check out all my other Outer Limitless channels. Links in the description box below. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Take care now. I'll see you soon.